So, good afternoon. My name is Colin Darby. I work in a company called Optical Company, and we're a relatively small but very specialized company in what we actually do. My background, I suppose, is when I was in secondary school, I was big into all the sciences and doing a lot of the science things which we talk about in science. And over the course of one summer, I decided completely to change direction and go into business. It was actually my family business that started this up. It was my father who started it back in 1966. So I had an idea roughly that I was going to go into business. I didn't realize I was going to be sucked in quite so quickly, but I did, and I started getting involved with the company. A little bit of background about it, and my father started the company many, many years ago. It was a small company. He established it to sell microscopes to all the hospitals, laboratories, and industries. And probably a lot of you here have used, let's say, microscopes at some stage in your life, whether it's secondary school or third level colleges. But microscopes actually, although a very specialized niche market, they actually cross into the border into a lot of different kind of areas. People traditionally think about them just in the biological field, but they're also used in a lot of industries, research applications. They're flown out into space and various places. So it can be quite an interesting job, certainly I think so anyway. So I'll just go through a little bit of what sometimes they look like and also the applications that they're used for. So traditionally, people, I suppose, think of microscopes as the usual kind of microscope where you're using in a hospital, looking at medical slides. We have stereo microscopes for looking at things which are in the macro world, larger particles and samples. Student-grade microscopes. We have operating microscopes used in operating theaters. We have bigger research instruments which are really at the cutting edge of a lot of technological advancements in science. We have specialized systems which are growing in incubators to see how things change dynamically over time. And we also have something more leaning towards the future, where we're scanning in images all the time. And the big thing nowadays is about time and money, where people want to scan in all their images and be able to look at these images anywhere in the world. So microscopes have changed a little bit down through the years. And these are some of the images where people are looking at things which are phase contrast samples, tissue culture samples. You have looking at items in three-dimensional structures and looking to see exactly where cellular details are. They're also used in human IVF and, of course, in animal IVF laboratories around the country and around the world. They're used a lot in industry as well. Sometimes some of the companies that are here, the likes of IBM, Intel, these kind of companies, we've actually dealt with as well, whether it's looking for surface defects. So our day-to-day can be quite interesting because quite often we work with a lot of companies out there in the field because they come to us trying to problem solve something. We get some very unusual products and samples that we have to look at because they have an issue or problem with it and they don't know how to be able to fix it or resolve the issue. And they quite often need either some parts or full systems from ourselves to be able to investigate these problems. Medical stents, general laboratory equipment, snowflakes, and various different interesting things. And we also get some of the more unusual bugs and things like this. So, a typical day. Because we're a company like any company, we're very specialized in what we do in the microscope field, but we still have various different parts. So if you work for a company such as ourselves, you could be working in the design area. We've gone from not just selling our own products, but we're also now starting to change dynamically and start to actually produce some of our own range of products. So that includes designing some of the products with which we sell. Also, you could work in the area of sales. And as I said, that gets quite interesting. So on a day-to-day basis, we deal with the hospitals. So we have an idea, and through our specialization, they pretty much come to us, and we give them the details and specifications of what they need to have. But when it comes to industry, as I said, they pretty much are trying to problem solve something. So quite often you get a bit of a kick out of being able to fix some issue or quite often highlight something which they hadn't actually even seen beforehand because they're suddenly seeing something in greater detail or greater clarity. So that can be quite an interesting thing in the sales field. Of course, you can work in the marketing area as well and think about how to project our image out there in a worldwide market. And I know we're trying to go from being a kind of a microscope specialist in Ireland to being a kind of a more global company now as well. You can work in being the delivery guy within obviously the company, making sure products get there on time. Hospitals have to have things, they don't like to have downtime, as don't industries as well. So they want to make sure that their products or getting out the door and they can still see their products and they're using our microscopes or whatever to be able to look at surface defects. Aftercare service within the companies. So like that, you can be working in either, whether it's on the phones or obviously in maintenance, being able to look after the products as well to make sure that they're working for the companies. You could also be a number cruncher within the company as well, so looking after all the accounting and all the finance aspects of the company. Or you can work in security as well. So there's a whole different plethora of areas within a company. And one of the biggest things is, and I see it a lot actually here, even with some of the guys who've already talked, I'm sure some more who will come after me, is that the biggest thing is that no matter what you do in life within a company, no matter what you did in university, what you eventually end up doing more often than not is completely different than what you originally thought you were going to do. I don't know if anybody here, maybe just a quick show of hands, anybody here have a rough idea of what they're going to do after they leave college? How many people approximately? Okay, a couple of people are fairly firm. A lot of people don't know, and quite often what you do is a base in third level college. It's a great base for what you go on to do, but always be at least open to the idea that something that you never thought of doing could actually be the right thing for you to do. So most important is to have fun in your job, whatever you do, because you've got to like your job to be able to do it. So make sure you have a great time doing whatever you do in work, and be kind to your boss. Thank you.